Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, to the longest vlog that has ever been planned in the entire history of the world. I initially planned to do this about 2 months ago. I put a post out on Instagram about the fact that I'd had cosmetic surgery, and I had a few messages off the back of that I kind of wanted to go into in a bit more detail, but then I thought, why not make a vlog about it so that I can share that information with whoever decides to watch. So that's the idea. So most of you watching this will probably know that in February this year I had a breast augmentation, or breast enlargement, boob job if you want to be common about it. I had quite a lot of questions off the back of this, both on YouTube and on Instagram, and just in general life, people messaging or speaking to me in person about it. I'm really passionate about reducing the stigma when it comes to cosmetic surgery and with doing things that make you feel good inside your own body. Obviously I'm massively into fitness and nutrition and everything involved in feeling good and looking good, and this is exactly the same really. I'm a big advocate for anyone who might be considering undertaking cosmetic surgery. I would 100% support that decision as long as it's the right decision for you and yourself. So what I wanted to do with this vlog was to basically go through some of the questions that I've been asked since I've had the surgery, and more of a one-to-one to however many people are viewing this kind of scenario. And by all means, if you've watched this and you have any questions that I haven't covered, then please do either comment in the comments below or message me on Instagram or whatever. Just get in touch and I'll be happy to answer any questions. So basically I went through the messages that I received and whittled it down, got rid of the obvious really pervy ones, and just whittled it down to the questions that people were actually interested in asking me about the surgery, and especially the girls who are interested in doing it themselves but wanted to know a little bit more about it from someone that they either know. I think it's always nice to talking to a friend or family member about this kind of thing, but at the same time maybe you don't have friends or family members that you feel like would understand your decision, and that's fair enough. I have family members who I don't really speak to now because of my decision to do this. It can cause friction, but at the end of the day you have to do what you want to do to make yourself happy. So I'm gonna crack on with these questions. First one, is it hard to lay on your front? It can be. I used to sleep on my front a lot, and I don't really do that anymore because it is a little bit like I'm trying to lay down but there's something in the way. So yeah, in that respect it is quite hard to lay on your front. Immediately after the surgery you have to sleep kind of in an upright position, or at least kind of at an angle that's fairly upright, because otherwise they won't heal properly, and it's just painful in general. I think for about 3-4 weeks after surgery I was pretty much sleeping like this, which is alright if you have a decent headboard like I have, but if you're up against a wall or something it's not very comfortable at all. How much did it cost? So in general, I covered a lot of this in the vlog that I did, which is the vlog that actually covered the surgery itself in Prague. So there is a lot more information in that and the actual clinic itself and everything I recorded there. But the surgery I paid for was in Prague, in the Czech Republic, so it was a lot cheaper than it would have been getting it done here. I had consultations with both Maya and Transform before I decided where I was going to do it, and both of them were coming in around the £5,500 mark. I could have just about afforded it, but I did want to explore the other options available, and I had heard of cosmetic surgery abroad and looked into it, and that's why I decided. But I went into a lot of that in my other vlog anyway, so go and check that out if you want to know a bit more about that. Are you scared to go abroad for surgery? No. To be honest, no. I did a lot of research before I committed myself to it. I watched vlogs on YouTube and I was doing research on forums and things like that on the internet, and obviously you do get some horror stories, but then you get the same in England as well, or in America, or anywhere that you decide to do it. There will always be a minority that don't have the best result or the best experience with having surgery done, and it's the same with any surgery, regardless of whether it's cosmetic, elective surgery, or whether it's routine kind of emergency surgery. Why didn't you go bigger? It's kind of an obvious answer really. It's the shape and the size that you go for in terms of an implant. Very personal to your own body shape and your lifestyle. There's a lot of things to consider when you're thinking, you know, size-wise, how big do I really want to go? So for me, I have a very active lifestyle. I have a very manual job that involves a lot of heavy lifting, and outside of that I do a lot of fitness related things, Olympic lifting, CrossFit. Some of these things weren't necessarily factors in my life at the time I had the surgery. I did lead a very active lifestyle, regardless of the current activities that I do now. So taking all that into consideration, and taking into consideration my frame size and how much volume I had already in my boobs, that's kind of how you get to, this is where I want them to be size wise. And it's not a case of, oh okay, well I'm now a B and I want to be a D. They don't work like that. It's done in measurements of volume. So I got 400cc implants. I went from a very small B cup to a double D. And also you really have to consider what the size is going to look like in terms of the shape of implant you get as well, and how it's positioned, but I'll move on to that in a minute. Why did you feel the need to get cosmetic surgery? Again, this is something I covered a lot of in my Prague vlog, so I would recommend going and giving that a watch if you haven't already. Briefly, really, it's basically because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with the size of my boobs as they were. I lost a fair bit of weight after having my son, and after getting into fitness. I lost a lot of fat and subsequently lost a lot of the volume of my boobs as well. So yeah, it was about feeling good about myself again, and it's something that I had planned and researched and wanted to do over a long time period. It was 2 years, no it wasn't, it was 4 years from the first time I considered even looking into it to the point I actually had surgery. So it's something that isn't a quick, light decision to make. Did you have any complications with your surgery? Touch wood. Why do I have no wood in here? Oh yeah, I've just realised I've still got the tag on this as well. I bought this today with the intention of wearing it out tonight, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I left the tag on. Just ignore that. So, any complications? No, touch wood, I have had no complications with my surgery. I actually had the surgery done. I had to go back and see my surgeon the day we flew home to make sure he was happy with me flying home and there wasn't any issues that he wanted to check over or anything at that point. Recovery wise, it was fairly easy recovery. I was only really in pain for a couple of weeks. It's more uncomfortable and kind of getting used to them after that point, but no complications, thankfully. What is the best shape implant to go for? Again, it's something that's very personal to your own decision. A lot of people tend to go for an anatomical or teardrop implant, which is more natural. I wish I had some actually that I could show you. I feel like I can't really show you. No, I can't do it. So an anatomical implant is basically teardrop shaped and has less volume at the top than it does as it slopes down and kind of curves under like a normal breast would. So that's the most popular choice of implant. Then you have a round implant, which is what I went for. It's basically the same volume all the way around the implant as it sits against your body, which is what kind of gives you the roundness at the top. I really lacked cleavage basically my whole life, and even with these implants you can see I don't have the most cleavage. This is a very good push-up bodysuit. That doesn't particularly give me a huge amount of cleavage, so I wanted the rounder effect so that it would give the illusion of kind of higher up and more cleavage. It's very much individual to each person. If you've got quite naturally voluminous, is that a word? Voluminous? If they're quite round already at the top, then you're unlikely to really need more of that volume and go for a round one. That's something to discuss with the surgeon when you go for a consultation. Did the surgery hurt? Yes. Realistically, I was asleep. It was done under general anaesthetic. Do you know what, the only thing that really hurt as far as that's concerned was when I had the cannula in my hand. Oh, hello, my battery's running low. They injected the anaesthetic and it was like really sharp pain that went into my hand, but then obviously I was asleep within a few seconds, so I didn't really care much after that point. But when I woke up, stayed in the clinic overnight. I was on a fair bit of morphine because I was in quite a lot of pain after that. And then for the first, I'd say, 2 or 3 days after that, it was, you know, I was setting alarms for the minute I could have more pain relief. I was on 2 types of pain relief, so a stronger one and a slightly less strong one. And to be honest, even those barely took the edge off it. But then like magic after the second or third day. It was just soreness and discomfort more than pain, really. What are the scars like? I'm guessing that question is more aimed at how bad do they look. So there's various different ways that they can actually put the implants in. Some of them go in through the nipple, they cut the nipple out, implant in that way, and then sew it back up again. Kind of go in through the armpit, I think, and the incisions are underneath, so you can see them like if you stood face on, because my boobs are quite hard because of their shape. They're not particularly bad. I'll try and put a picture or something in, work out how to do that. Got some pictures of sort of earlier on in recovery as well, so I'll try and do like a comparison so you can see. They're quite highly visible. I'm not particularly bothered about them. I haven't got my boobs for aesthetic purposes, in the sense that I want people to look at them and be like, oh, they look amazing and so perfect. They're there because they make me feel good about myself. And scar wise, I don't really care about the scars. Can you feel the implants inside you? I'm not sure whether that means physically, as in if I put my hands on them, can I feel them, or can I feel that they are in my body? Am I aware of them? First answer is yes. So particularly from underneath, if you kind of press into the skin, you can feel the edges of the implant, and to a certain extent from the top as well. Mine are under the muscles, they're not as prominent as they would be if they were over the muscle. But yeah, I mean, you can feel the firmness there. In terms of being aware of them in my body, no, they're not, other than, like I say, with lying down and things like that. You know, on a day-to-day basis, I can't tell they're there. I don't feel like there's this sudden weight that's now toppling me forward every time I walk. Would you get them done again? So there's recommendation that you're supposed to have your implants redone every 10-15 years. They're not considered lifetime devices. They're perfectly safe to have in you, providing they haven't ruptured or caused any issues with your health. On reflection, I probably would have gone a little bit bigger. So I may well in a few years' time consider having them redone and going for a slightly bigger size. With fitness and things like that, obviously my body is constantly changing. If I eventually decide to stop eating so much food, I might end up losing a bit more weight. And in which case bigger boobs might not look as natural on me. So yeah, never say never. So that's it for the Q&A on my boobs. Thank you to anyone who sent me a question. I really do appreciate it, being able to put this together and hopefully help out anyone who might be considering cosmetic surgery with some of the common questions that they might want to know. I really do hope that it does kind of reduce the stigma a little bit attached to cosmetic surgery, and shows that getting a boob job isn't just for a page 3 model or porn star. It's actually something that a lot of people do. I think you'd be surprised how many people do it, and I was genuinely surprised by some of the people who were actually contacting me saying that they were interested in it, so there you go. But thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye!